This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown. We not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, because them bulls out the pen and they about to stampede.
So I very much like the idea of using the 2 third-round picks that you have, maybe one of those, some other selections, and jumping up from 33 so that you get the additional first-round pick. And I would hope that the first 3 selections are quarterback. I almost feel like that's a foregone conclusion. It's a quarterback, and then wide receiver, defensive end, or defensive end, wide receiver in that order. That's my preference for the top 3 picks that the Texans will make.
All right. Before I move on to the fellas, we all 3 are in unison going after JMS, the center from Minnesota. Are you a fan of him? Do you think we need to go get a center second, third round?
Center is the only thing Nick Caserio didn't get in free agency that I really wanted him to get. I had a checklist for Nick Caserio. I wanted some depth at the defensive line. I wanted some linebackers. I wanted something fun, which Dalton Schultz turned out to be something fun. I didn't anticipate them getting Dalton Schultz, but they certainly, that turned into something. The only thing he didn't get was a center. Now, I get some of those guys stuck. Postage stayed in Cleveland. Bradbury stayed in Minnesota. The San Francisco guy stayed in San Fran. The Dieter guy that they grabbed, weird career. I haven't seen a career quite like his in a long time. He started and didn't start, then did start, then didn't start. Yeah, very strange. I understand the need for it. I wonder if there's that much of a difference between Schmitz and the second, third, fourth best center. And if there is that much of a difference, then make the selection. But if there's not that much of a difference, then let's see kind of how a different position with a bit more priority shakes out. You can't solve everything, but it certainly would be nice to have a more talented option. I did find this interesting. I went and looked at Michael Dieter and some of his college stuff that he had put together prior to ending up in the NFL draft. And he had roughly the same accolades that Schmitz had in the Big Ten. In fact, he had a little more. He was an All-American as well. He was a 2-time first-team Big Ten player, and he was the Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. And Schmitz has pretty similar accolades. So, they're not exactly the same. Dieter's taller. So maybe that affects his ability to do this or do that. Schmitz is a little bit shorter, so maybe he's more compact and powerful. People talk about him like he's a plug-and-play guy. It would be nice if look, Kenyon Green didn't play well last year. I was a big fan of Tyler Linderbaum going into the draft. It'd be nice if Kenyon Green was Tyler Linderbaum and you were looking for a guard and not a center. The center is just so specific, and there's not a lot of extra to a center. Sometimes guards have versatility, can play center, can play tackle. Obviously, tackles sometimes have versatility, can play inside. Centers feel like they're very much that's it. But hey, if he's good and he's going to start for 10 years, then okay, make the pick. It's not exciting, but you know what else isn't? It's exciting, winning. And if he helps you win, do it.
Let me just make my argument on why I think JMS is that perfect pick for 33, and he may even go sooner. But D'Amico Ryans and Bobby Slowick have said they want to be a run-first team, right? We want to be able to run in the middle at will necessary on those 4th and 1s, on those 3rd and 1s. And JMS is the best run-blocking center in this draft, so he makes that possible. Last season, even though Damian Pierce was a beast, we were actually, I forget what it was number, the last or second to last. We were the worst in terms of short yardage situations when we're trying to run the ball. We had the most stuffs. And again, this is Damian Pierce, who has, amazing yards after contact, and he couldn't do it. And we need something so we can convert on 3rd down. We weren't able to convert on 3rd down in those short yardage situations, and we need to be able to solve that. We also saw Scott Quesenberry basically almost get Davis Mills murdered. So we have to prevent that from happening, whether it's Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. So I think there's an argument to be made that even though, yes, you're right, the center is not a sexy position, but it's so important for what we want to accomplish that I think you have to do it. And to me, if we don't get either JMS or Tippmann, that's a problem to me. Like we bailed on center for essentially for 2, 3, 4 years really. It's time to solidify that position.
JMS's NFL comparison on NFL.com by Lance Zierlein, who's a colleague of mine at ESPN 97.5, is Ben Jones. If you signed me up, you signed me up for a Ben Jones-esque player. Ben was not real good his first year in the league, but then he turned into a very nice player. Probably should have never left the building.
Right.
And was fantastic in Tennessee. Got a free agent contract and another contract with them. So, hey, if you tell me he's going to turn into Ben Jones, I'll sign up for that.
This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown. We not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, because them bulls out the pen and they about to stampede.